Welcome to Underqualified and Over It. I am your host Alice, and joining me as always is Cindy.
Hello.
In this podcast, we are over-opinionated and unfortunately allowed to talk. So sit back, lower your expectations, and let's get into it. That was smoother than any of the other ones I think that we've ever done.
I know.
We're getting better.
That was really good. I mean, yeah, one of us is.
One of us is.
One of us is just has been and will continue to say fuck it since the beginning and just beep everything.
So I've been feeling a lot better recently, which is really good from like the past few weeks of not feeling great.
Yeah.
I feel like getting on with a bit more productive stuff has been the priority of what I've been doing recently. Well,
yeah. Other than Call of Cthulhu, what are you working on right now?
So right now I'm still working on the coding for the game that I'm working on. I have, what have I done now? I've done all of the animations for the fighting. So the animation for the main character swinging a sword, and then the slime character that I've got, which we're going to change into something else later on. This is just all placeholder stuff. That has an attack animation. The character now takes damage, and so does the slime. And they all work properly. Good.
Nice. Congratulations.
I'm just trying to get all of the the simplistic stuff in first, and then I'll crack on with the harder stuff, which is like the day and night cycle and the calendar cycle as well. And then once I've done the calendar cycle, it'll change to the each calendar cycle, like the next month will be the season cycle as well.
Nice.
What have you been up to?
There we go. Like an urge to just be like, well, and I'm I have not really been up to much. I've been trying to get my house in order because I've been just kind of in just a lull, kind of just in a slump for the past like 3 weeks. And part of it is because of like stuff going on back home and like not being able to be there for it. But part of it is just like, I don't know if it's like season, because I mean, my cat did go missing around this time last year. So I don't know if that like is probably something to do with it. But I've just been like really not able to like get up and do shit. And so like I've just been slowly cleaning my house and trying to get everything back into order. I'm working on a video. It's like probably going to be a series, but I went to the store today to try and buy, because one of the things I'm going to do is break down a chicken. Morrison's doesn't sell whole chickens. So I'm going to have to go to like an actual butcher shop to get the produce, or not the produce, the cuts and stuff that I need. Like to just buy a chicken, I have to go to like an actual butcher, probably.
Morrison doesn't sell whole chicken. Is this like a big Morrison?
Yeah, and they do online, but when I showed up today, they didn't have any. And so I don't know what it is. I feel like a lot of the time when we talk about like adjusting to life here in the UK, it's just me constantly complaining about shit. There are some things that the US just does better, in my opinion, and grocery stores are one of them. And part of that is because like where I'm from, like my area of the country, you have to get everything there. Your tires, your furniture, because people are like, that's what made Walmart particularly popular, was because it just had everything you needed. And so you only had to go to one place. But it's just like, I don't know what it is about the supermarkets here, but they seem so disorganized. And it's like, oh, we need to restock the shelves. They just take like the bucket of stuff and just dump it on the shelves. And it's like, can't you just like line it up and like have it nice and neat? And like, cause like, I feel like the butcher section is always like half empty. Now, there is an aspect of that is probably fresher, and it's not just like there's probably less food waste. And so there's probably positives to it, or you would hope anyway. But yeah, it's like there's always like emptiness on the shelves. It always feels very disorganized. And so maybe they did have chickens and I just couldn't find it the 5 times I walked through the aisle. But it's just like, it just didn't make any sense to me. So yeah, I probably have to go to like an actual like butcher. Because from what I remember, I haven't shopped at Lidl in a while, but I don't think that Lidl sells whole chickens either.
They should do.
I don't recall the one down the street from us having any whole chickens. I mean, I'll go probably look before having to go to an actual butcher, but I feel like going to an actual butcher is just going to be more expensive. So I don't know.
Yeah, that's really odd. But then again, there has been sometimes when I've been to our Asda and I've needed mince beef, and the shelf full of the one that I usually get is empty. And then I go and ask them, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we don't even have any in the back. We're waiting for a delivery." It's just like, I'm sorry, but why aren't you organized enough? Like, you're supposed to be supplying this whole area with food. Like, I know that there's Tesco's and Morrison's in my area as well, but they're further for me to walk to, and I just can't be bothered. And also the prices change.
For all of my Americans out there, minced beef is ground beef.
I'm just like, every single time I go in there, usually there's something on my shopping list that I can't get because they haven't stocked the shelves properly.
Or they've rearranged it and you have no idea where it's at anymore because overnight they decided, we're going to move it over here.
It's like when I used to work in a Morrison's Daily, that's like the liquor shop, we had every day we had to go around with this little machine and scan every single barcode that was on the shelves if there was an empty shelf to do a stock check. Okay. And if we had that stock upstairs, or the system said we had that stock upstairs, we had to go and get the stock from upstairs and restock the shelves. Right? If we didn't have that stock on the shelves, it was supposed to go through an automated system which would then order more of that stock.
Right, okay.
But half of the time, when you're going round with this thing, right, you'd usually have, unfortunately, you'd have somebody that was absolutely bloody useless on the tills. So this was a supervisor's job, so you'd go around and do that. And halfway through getting through the scanning of everything, you'd have about 20 people turn up at that time. And this one person on the till is there like, oh, I can't handle all of these people. So you'd have to jump on one of the other tills and go and help. Or you'd have one customer come in that wanted to get their lottery. And the person on the till was like, oh, I can't remember how to use the lottery machine. It's like, this is your job. You work the tills. You work everything that's to do with the tills. That is your job. My job is to do this. And the thing is, if you stopped halfway through, the bloody machine would turn off and then you'd have to start all over again.
Oh, that's fun.
Because it'd log you out. The machine would log you out, and then you'd log back in. And then it'd take you to the main menu of the thing, and you would have to physically restart the whole check again, because otherwise it wouldn't scan properly.
That's so frustrating. You know what pisses me off is like when I go into a little Tesco. So like they put one in like close to where my husband works, and I will go in there and there will be like minimum of like 3 employees working, right? Because it's a little Tesco, but it's fairly busy. They've got, this like drive through where people can come through and like pick up stuff that they need. So you have, and plus they have like the I don't know if it's like a nicotine section or whatever, so that has to be like manned or whatever. But there is like nothing that grinds my gears more They have 2 self-checkouts because it's just a little Tesco. It's very little. They have 2 self-checkouts. Nothing pisses me off more than when there's a line wrapped around the entire store going through the self-checkouts and you have like 3 employees just sitting in the back chilling and you can see them through the door and you're like, hello?
Yeah.
Come help me, please. And then they come to help you, but they act like you pissed in their Cheerios or you inconvenience them by asking them to do their fucking job. It pisses me off. And I get that working at a little Tesco is not like a career maker. I get it. And that you're not being paid enough for like all of the different shit that you have to do. And you're like I get there are injustices in this world, but don't be one.
Yeah.
Don't be my injustice because I'm trying to ask you to do the job. You may not be getting paid enough, but you are still getting paid to do a job. And it pisses me off. Oh, I hate it when you ask somebody, I hate it when you ask somebody to do their job and they act like you are the biggest inconvenience to them for asking them to do their job.
It's like, what are you getting paid for?
Yeah, exactly. Oh, it makes me so mad. I also don't like whenever like you have like a public servant, like a police officer or something like that, who act like they're God's gift to humanity because they work in the public like service industry. And it's like, I don't care that you're a cop. Like stop treating me like I'm a piece of shit. Like you don't treat people this way. I can't stand when they like positions like that, politics, like doctors. I can't stand when they think that they're God's gift to humanity and they act so superior to you just because they have a specific job. And it's like, you're a human, dude. Like, You're just a guy, just like me. I wish we could just all treat each other kindly.
It's like when you go to the doctors and you're like, these are the symptoms that I am having. This is how my body is acting at the minute. And then they just turn around and go, that's not what's happening. Like, yeah. I think I know my body. I think I know what my body is doing, and like I know we've like said this. I think we said this in the previous episode, but like when you go to the doctors and it's just like as a woman, if you go to the doctors as a woman on your own in the UK especially, and you turn up with your whole list of symptoms that you want to talk about, they'll look at you as if you've just come in and taken a big poo on the floor. They'll be like,
that's really frustrating.
No, that's not what's happening. It's this.
Yeah.
Oh, you're just depressed. It's this.
God.
You don't understand what's going on with your own body. I'm like, yeah, I do. Thank you. And then it's just they'll put you down and be like,
dude,
make it seem like the symptoms that you're coming out with are absolutely horse poo. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, we had one doctor who I went to when I got sick when I first got here. And she just treated me so like when it comes to doctors, there's nothing that pisses me off more than when they ask you a question and then interrupt you while you're answering it. It's like, no, I'm sorry. Did the middle of my sentence interrupt the beginning of yours? I understand that you only want to keep this appointment to 15 minutes, but God forbid that I have more than 15 minutes problem going on with my body. Like, you asked me a question. Oh, if you don't want to hear the answer, then don't ask the fucking question. Because I'm not the type of person that when I go to the doctor's office, I'm like talking in circles and like da-da-da-da-da-da-da, and like saying the same thing 15 times, because I could understand interrupting somebody if they have gotten the information that they need and you're just repeating it over and over again. But if you ask me, like, what did you eat yesterday? And I say, I had this and I had this. Oh, well, it's probably that. And it's like,
I wasn't finished saying what I was eating.
I wasn't finished. I also have additional information, if you would let me finish my sentence, of I have had issues with XYZ, so I get the low sodium part of like low sodium or low sugar or low whatever the fuck. And it's like, that might be good information for you to have, but guess what? You're never going to have. Anyway, that was like one of the doctors that we had, but she just retired. So I went back and I had a whole, like you're talking about, like a whole list of issues that I needed to talk about because I was dealing with a knee injury. I had my back stuff. I needed an appointment with, like, about women's issues and like all sorts of stuff. And she sat there and she listened to me and she was like, okay, yeah, that's fine. Then like we still kept she's like, just so you know, I do need to keep this appointment to about 20 minutes. So why don't you just go ahead and run through everything? And she actually sat there and listened to me. She's like, so here in this country, this is how we can do this. This is how we can do this. I'm going to tell you right now that this is probably not going to be the route that you want to go toward because that's going to be like a major abdominal surgery. I'm like, okay, cool. Like that's fine. Like, and she pretty much was able to like solve all of my issues, or at least give me answers or point me in the right direction. It's like, that is very rough because, oh man, I've had some pretty horrendous doctor's visits. Oh man, I remember there was one doctor's visit because I have Nexplanon, which is like the birth control in your arm. I had one of them ask me, did you get fat since you've had this? I'm like, couldn't have put that another way, bitch.
Like, have you noticed any weight fluctuation?
Well, even then, like, yes, they could have rephrased it, but they were like talking about it where it was like, when you go to the dentist and they're like having a conversation like you're not there. Yeah, it was like that, but I was there and they were like, I had my arm out and they had like trying to get the old one out or whatever. And I remember I just felt so insecure sitting there because she asked that at the very beginning of the appointment because they were having issue getting it out of my arm. And I was not overweight. I was not, I hadn't put on so much weight that it would be difficult for them to find it. What had happened is the tissue had adhered to it because this thing lasts for like 3 years. So in that time, your body will latch on to things. And so they were having trouble getting it out. And like, cause the tissue had adhered to it. So they were like trying to pull it out and they're like, did you get fat since this went in? I'm like, no. I was like the audacity of these bitches. Anyway, I'm good.
We've had our run now.
Long story short, I'm good.
Okay, so today we are diving back into some cryptids.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So, I'm gonna do like we did before because I've had a few family members that have actually listened to the other episode that we have out of the cryptids. Oh. And they were like, oh, I really liked the way that the storytelling was. It was really creepy. So we're going to crack on with that. So I have written out some more like little stories to go with our cryptids. So dive into those now.
What continent are we starting on?
We're starting in America. Well, actually, we're not. We're starting in Canada and America, both.
Well,
a little bit of both.
Deep in the frozen forests of subarctic Canada and the northern United States, a terrifying figure has haunted the imagination of indigenous communities for centuries, known as the Wendigo. This creature is as much a cautionary symbol as it is a monster. Origins of the Wendigo lie in the indigenous folklore of tales passed down long before European settlers arrived in the 17th century. These stories emerged from a world of harsh winters, isolation, and scarcity, where survival depended on cooperation and balance. The Wendigo embodies what happens when those principles are broken: extreme greed, selfishness, or cannibalism, transforming a person into something inhuman. Descriptions vary. Some accounts portray the Wendigo as skeletal and gaunt, skin stretched tightly over its bones, hollow eyes, clawed hands, and a heart made of ice. In other retellings, modern horror media has added antlers and animalistic traits, but the core remains an insatiable hunger for human flesh, a creature born of desperation and moral decay. Legend says the Wendigo could stalk humans for days, taunting its prey with eerie screams or unsettling noises echoing throughout the frozen forests. Its terrifying presence reflects not just a physical threat, but the psychological strain of isolation and famine. Anthropologists have even coined the term Wendigo psychosis to describe cases where extreme hunger drove people to cannibalism, echoing the transformational tales of the creature. One infamous real-world connection is the case of Swiftrunner, a Cree man in 1879 who claimed possession by a Wendigo spirit, leading him to murder and cannibalize his family. Convicted and executed, his story illustrates how closely the Wendigo legend intersects with human desperation and the psychological extremes exposed by survival in harsh environments. Over time, the Wendigo moved beyond Indigenous folklore into modern pop culture, from Stephen King's Pet Sematary to the TV series Supernatural and Hannibal. The creature has been adapted into a symbol of isolation, moral corruption, and the terrifying capacity of humans to become monsters. Yet beneath the horror, Wendigo stories carry a lesson. Survival is not just physical, but moral. Greed, selfishness, or taking more than your share could threaten the entire community. The Wendigo isn't just a forest monster, it's a reflection of what humans can become when pushed beyond their limits. Real or not, skeletal or symbolic, the Wendigo serves as a chilling reminder. The line between humanity and monstrosity is fragile. In the endless snow of the northern forests, anyone could be at risk of crossing it.
I don't know how. All right. Hot take here. In a survival situation, I do not believe that cannibalism is bad. So there's been historical, survival. What is it? The Donner Party.
Yeah, I was going to say the Donner Party is one of my favorite stories.
Yeah.
Historical stories of cannibalism to survive.
I also the story of the rugby team that got stranded in the Chilean mountains. That was a really powerful story as well. And the thing is, right, is it may be something that you have a hard time stomaching. Like one of the things I think they did a really good job portraying, especially in the movie that they did. Oh, what was it called? Society of Snow. That one. They did a really good job because of the brothers that actually prepared the meat for everyone, prepared everything. They were the ones that had to butcher their friends. And that takes a very significant amount of strength and leadership. It is, in a survival situation, nobody wants to have to think about that. However, and also in the Donner Party, the amount of ridicule that the survivors got because of what they had to do to survive. I mean, nobody deserves to be punished like that. And I wonder, with folklore and things like that, because Native American tribes, there's all sorts of folklore and tribal tellings of things. And I wonder if the Wendigo is kind of a way to take a survival situation and give reason to why someone is outcast. I wonder if the Wendigo is, who's that skinny guy in the woods? That's a Wendigo, because he was gluttonous and he took more than his share. And so now he's been cast out of the community. And so they're on the outskirts of the tribe watching, and they're not allowed in, basically, until they starve to death, kind of thing.
Yeah, so that reminds me of, because I've been rewatching the Outlander series, and the main characters go and live over in America, and they interact with some of the indigenous tribes. And one of them, in the area that they are, they're plagued by a bear. And it's not a bear, it's a guy in a bear skin that's just attacking people. And he was, cast out of his tribe because he had like taken a woman where she didn't want it, and I think I can't remember what happened. I don't know whether she passed away because of it, or it was just a grape situation. But he was cast out of the tribe, and they decided that he was now a bear in the woods.
Yeah.
And he became
a predator. Yeah.
Yeah, he became a predator. And maybe that's kind of similar as well.
That's what it sounds like to me. I mean, and obviously, I mean, you're talking to somebody who's highly skeptical of any cryptids whatsoever. So I always look at like the logical, what could be the logic behind this? And it is easier to tell a cautionary tale to your kids. I mean, even Krampus, you know, with like, oh, you obey your parents or you're gonna get stolen. And you know, I don't know exactly what Krampus is, but I know it's something along those lines. But it's just like, it sounds to me like out of desperation, you know, this guy from the tribe gets lost on his way back with his wife and kids, and then he makes it back and they don't, and he tells them what happened. And because I mean, there is also the mindset of it is better, you're gonna have to go with me on this one, it is better to lose a wife and children than it is a hardened warrior of your tribe. Right, because you need to have fighters, you need to have people to hunt and gather for the rest of the tribe. So for the good of the tribe, it's better that the wife and children die than the warrior does. Then he comes back, he tells his story, and the other people just can't get past it, so they banish him from the tribe and shun him until he becomes a withered creature lurking on the outskirts of the tribe. All that they're wanting is to be let back in, and it's been used as a cautionary tale for so long. And then of course, you know, so was the Lord of the Rings thing, like facts into folk tale, into legend, into, you know, blah blah blah, whatever, like, and until it makes it into this cryptid that we have now. That's what it sounds like to me. Because I mean, you just look at how like recorded history has treated people who have been in similar situations, and it's like, they did what they had to do, bro. Like, sorry about you, but if you and I get, you know, stranded up in the mountains and you die, sorry, bro.
I mean, good luck on that one, because there's not much meat on me.
Yeah.
I'd probably get more meat out of you.
Although, if you are in a survival situation and you do wind up having to go through this, do not eat any spinal cord or brain.
No.
Period. That is the part you do not touch, because that is the part that drives you mad. So. Okay.
We're gonna come over to England now. We're gonna go to Cornwall.
Ooh.
In the quiet parish of Mornan, Cornwall, England, the woods around St. Mornan and St. Stephen's Church hold an unsettling secret. For decades, locals and visitors have whispered about a creature unlike any other. A humanoid bird known simply as the Owlman. The legend began on the 17th of April, 1976. Two young sisters, June, 12, and Vicky, 9, were camping with their family. While their parents prepared a picnic, the girls wandered into the cemetery near the church to play. Suddenly, screams shattered the calm. The sisters ran back to the car, hysterical, insisting they leave immediately. According to June and Vicky, they had looked up to see a giant bird-like human flying above the church tower. Its presence both silent and terrifying, a sketch made by the girls later, reached paranormal researcher Tony Doc Shields, who reported the encounter in Fortean Times, a magazine devoted to the strange phenomena. Despite his reputation as a magician, illusionist, and occasional prankster, he claimed no involvement in the incident. The Melling sisters' sighting is the first well-documented report on the Owlman, though some sources suggest the legend may stretch back to the 1920s. Subsequent sightings share a chilling pattern. The owlman is often seen watching humans, silent and observing, a shadowy guardian or protector over the quiet Cornish woods. Skeptics suggest the creature may be a barn owl or a Eurasian eagle owl, but these theories fail to account for the humanoid qualities consistently described by witnesses. The owlman fits a border pattern of bird-like humanoid creature in folklore, echoing the sirens and harpies of ancient Greece, the winged genies of Assyria, and even the Mesopotamian Queen of the Night. Relief on display at the British Museum, created around 1800 to 1750 BCE. Though sightings are rare, far fewer than Bigfoot or the Loch Ness Monster, the owlman's elusive nature adds to its intrigue. Across centuries and cultures, humans have long feared creatures that blur the line between human and animal, earthbound and airborne, natural and supernatural. In Moanan, the owlman remains the silent observer, a reminder that even the quietest woods can hide mysteries older than memory, waiting for someone brave or unlucky enough to look up.
I'm not gonna lie, this sounds like a prank because that's 100% some shit that I would do.
Yeah.
Just like make myself some big wings and just perch on the edge of a church and just like watch people and just be like, hello, who?
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 Who? The great Scottish owl. Who?
I always struggle when it's kids that have the like, oh, I saw a big scary thing, because kids will say the most random shit, and it's just like it literally could have been somebody in a costume. It's, what was it, 1970 something?
It was 1976.
Yeah, so like we're getting into the 80s, and like people are fucking living their best lives. We're coming off the 60s, we're going into the 80s. The 70s was a weird ass time.
It was, yeah.
Now, there is like the drugs got real popular in the 60s. And in my mind, it's like, this is probably somebody who's just fried their brain, thinks they're an owl, and is just doing owl shit.
Yeah.
And these kids see it and they're like, he was 8 feet tall. And it's like, okay.
Yeah. Gives me the egg boy vibes from Hazbin Hotel. How was I supposed to know that they were talking the truth? Bank accounts are made up by the shadow government. See?
And the pictures that these kids drew, I Googled it while you were speaking. It literally just looks like some homemade, LARPing situation type stuff, because it's very much just a dude.
Yeah.
With feathers on its arms. And it's like, I ran around with like a cape pretending to be a bird at times. Like, I'm pretty sure this was just somebody who maybe had some mental health issues. Maybe they just were having a good time fucking with people. And that guy who was like a known prankster, who was like, it was me. It
probably was that guy, yeah.
Probably was, because like, now there is an aspect of that, like if you think of like there were animals in the sizes that they used to be before humans came into the equation, kind of thing. Like, yes, there were rodents of unusual size, but
there are still rodents of an unusual size. Oh my gosh.
It's called New York.
No, they're called capybaras.
They are called that's true. But it's just like could it be that there was a species of bird and this is the last one? Sure. But to make it all the way to the 70s without a sighting, and then all of a sudden these girls see it and it sparks this whole big thing, and then 2 years later there's another sighting, and it's like, was there? Because it's just a lot of unreliable narrators, in my opinion. It is. Now, if I walked outside and I saw that, I would be horrified. The same way that walking outside during the scary clown phase that America went through, I would also be horrified, even though I know that's a person. And I'm going out of my, sorry, but if you do that to instill fear in me, I'm going out of my way to hit you with my car. So,
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah.
I would do the same thing to this. I'd go and I get my hunting rifle and be like, "You a bird?
Get off of my lawn.
Pretty much. Get off my property before I shoot you like the damn animal
Hippity
you are."
hoppity, get off my property.
I wonder how long they remain a bird.
Yeah.
But
Plus, if it is a bird, I mean, most of the time, just shoot it anyway. Good meat.
yeah, it's a good meat, and it probably kills like livestock. In all
Probably.
fairness,
Yeah.
Like it survives on something.
Yeah, and there was no like mention of any like in previous stuff we've had like creatures turn up, and most of the time there's livestock that are missing. Nothing.
Mhm.
Nothing about that.
Yeah.
Just these two girls seeing a random owl man. Is what
Which
happened.
probably, again, they're little girls. So
Yeah.
it probably was just a normal sized dude.
Yeah.
It probably was. Just saying. But I mean, like, again, if I saw something like this, I'm grabbing a rifle and I'm confronting it. I'm not running away from it. And like, if I don't have a rifle on me, I'm pulling out my phone and I'm recording it.
Oh yeah.
Because like, and I get they didn't have that in the 70s. Like, we are very blessed to live in the day and age that we do to be able to record proof. But even with AI these days, people be like, "Oh, that's AI." It's like, okay, well, fucking cool, whatever, dude. Like, but I'm not just gonna like let it be. I'm going to record it with my phone, and I'm going to follow it while I'm on the either on with the police or on with animal control, because I'm like, right. Actually, speaking of that, there was this guy who I want to say it was a guy. I'm not really sure, but this person was like breaking all sorts of laws, but they were like in a dog outfit and they were identifying as a dog, and the police had to come out and they were like, all right, well, if you're going to identify and act like an animal. They called animal control to come get him.
Fairs.
I was like, that is a solid way to deal with it.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, fair.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
All right, we're going to go back over to America now.
Based off of the images that I Googled while you were speaking, I think I know where we're going next.
In the quiet town of Point Pleasant, West Virginia, along the banks of the Ohio River, one of the world's most famous cryptid legends first took flight. In 1966, reports began circulating of a strange winged creature with glowing red eyes, seen haunting the night skies and lonely roads. Locals would soon come to know it as the Mothman.
Yeah! Mothman! Woo!
The first major sightings came from two young couples driving late at night. They claimed a towering humanoid figure with enormous wings pursued their car through the darkness. Shaken, they went straight to the police. Within weeks, more witnesses came forward, each describing the same unsettling presence: red eyes, dark wings, and a silent figure watching from above. Newspapers coined the name Mothman, inspired more by pop culture than biology, but it stuck. Throughout 1966 and 1967, sightings continued. Some described the creature as over 6 feet tall, with a wingspan nearly 10 feet wide. But the legend deepened in December 1967, when the Silver Bridge collapsed, killing 46 people. Many locals began to believe the Mothman had been an omen, a warning of disaster no one understood till it was too late. Point Pleasant might have been the end of the story, but legends like this rarely stay in one place. Over the years, Mothman, or creatures eerily similar to it, have appeared across the globe. In the 1970s, witnesses in Brazil reported a flying humanoid with glowing red eyes before major flooding. In Mexico, similar beings appeared in several times of upheaval, blending seamlessly into existing folklore about winged omens of doom. In Europe, the pattern continued. In the 80s, workers near Chernobyl nuclear plant claimed to see a dark winged figure before the catastrophic meltdown. It became known as the Black Bird of Chernobyl. And in Cornwall, like we've just talked about, reports saw of the Owlman, a large, well, I don't know whether they said that it had glowing eyes, but it was definitely a large owl-like creature haunting church towers and forests. In Poland, residents in the early 2000s described a shadowy winged figure near abandoned buildings. Asia has its own chapters in the Mothman story. In China, 1926, a winged creature was reported shortly before a deadly dam collapse. In Japan, sightings followed the Fukushima disaster in 2011. And in the Philippines, locals spoke of a flying humanoid before Mount Pinatubo erupted in 1991. Again and again, the same pattern appeared. Strange creature first, catastrophe second. Skeptics argue these sightings are products of stress, fear, and collective anxiety during times of crisis. When a disaster looms, the human mind looks for meaning in shadows. Believers, however, see Mothman as a supernatural warning system, an unwilling messenger of doom. Today, fear has given way to fascination. Point Pleasant hosts an annual Mothman Festival, complete with a towering statue, souvenirs, and thousands of visitors. The once dreaded creature has become a cultural icon, appearing in films, books, and television. So, what is Mothman? Is it a misunderstood animal? Psychological phenomenon? A symbol born from tragedy? Or something that watches from above when disaster approaches? From West Virginia to Japan, from whispered folklore to global fame, Mothman has transcended borders and generations. And as long as people keep seeing strange shapes in the night sky, his wings will continue to beat through our collective imagination. So, next time you're driving down a lonely road or standing beneath a foggy sky, don't forget to look up. After all, Mothman might be watching.
All I could think about was how, like, you know, when you're like about to fall asleep and you have that pile of clothes in the corner of your room and you think it's a person, and then you like sit bolt upright in your bed and you're like, oh God, I really need to do laundry. And then you can't go back to sleep. So you decide to do the laundry at 3 a.m. That's all I could think about. I think that the mass hysteria makes sense. And I think that like you talk about like Chernobyl and all these disasters. And it's like, oh, you know, there's these like cryptids that show up just at the right time. It's like, but you have to think these are people who have been through a significant amount of stress that are then recounting the tragedy. I am not saying that if you've been through something traumatic, you can't recount things properly. It is very difficult to do, to be 100% correct, right? Without any sort of mishaps or missteps, right? I don't know how many times I've been watching police body cam footage or like the footage from like a courtroom. It's like, officer, I did not run that red light. And then you watch the traffic cam and like you 100% did. Because people recount things poorly under stress. I think that, and mass hysteria has been something that's been recorded. I think this sounds to me like something that is mass hysteria / people trying to give meaning where there is no meaning kind of thing. Because I mean, you just like look at like how many things that we see on the internet, living in the information age that we do. How many times somebody can post something that means absolutely, like Baby No Money. His music has like, it's taken off, it's soaring. It is all memes and jokes and nothing serious about it. And then you look at Ren, who's another music artist, who's posting very real music about himself and his life and his drama. And it's like, and his stuff, I'm not going to say it isn't popular because it is, but it's not nearly like taken off as quickly as Baby No Money did, right? People will put meaning behind whatever they want, and they will support whatever they want. And if somebody likes cryptids, if somebody likes cryptids and has gone through something stressful, then why wouldn't they?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't they say this is what explains it all? Or God forbid, you cause a tragedy, and you're like, oh, it's Mothman. If I could winged people doing winged people things. I don't know. Couldn't be me. Couldn't possibly. People are absolutely fascinating creatures, but completely fallible. And this all, like, these cryptids that we talked about today, I know next to nothing about. I knew absolutely nothing about most of the stuff that you talked about last week. Or not last week, but the last time we talked about cryptids. These ones sound more like bedtime stories to me than the last ones did, for sure.
Yeah, a lot of cryptids are bedtime stories or cautionary tales. But I just love them.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. They're really fun. I'm not going to say that they're not fun. It is fun to think about. I think that I'm the type of person when it comes to your response in a situation like fight, flight, or freeze. I am a fight person. And I know this because I was dating somebody at a certain point in my life. And they jumped out, like, I think it was Halloween or something. We were headed to like a Halloween party. And they had this like gull mask, very occult looking mask. And they hid around the corner. As I was coming out of the toilet, they jumped out to scare me. I grabbed them by the collar and reared back to hit them. And that's how I know when I get scared, I fight. So
for me, it depends, right? So sometimes I'm a freeze girly. I'm a freeze and go, oh, kind of girly. So my other half, or I'll just scream. My other half is really good at sneaking up on me, right? And I won't realize he's there. And I'm like, she's there at him. And I'll just shout at him because I know it's him because I've locked eyes with him. And I'm just like, ugh, because it's him.
I guess, yeah, it does really depend on the situation. So if something is in my face as a threat, I'm a fight. I'm not going to scream. I'm not going to freeze. I'm going to fight. That's my immediate instinct. If I hear something like it sounds like somebody's breaking in or something along those lines, I will freeze, not because I'm scared, but because I'm listening. Yeah, because I'm listening, I'm formulating a plan. And this comes from my chronic overthinking, right? I'm thinking, all right, they're at the door. I know where we have a baseball bat, or I could go grab a kitchen knife, or I could, and like, how can I get there quickly? And I'm calculating these things in my brain. And then I realize it's my cat scratching at the door. So it is, it's one of those things where it's like, it depends on the situation, but my instinct is going to be to fight. Hashtag cryptids.
Hashtag cryptids. And we are going to finish on that note. So.
Oh, man.
This has been Underqualified and Over It.
If you made it this far, that's on you.
We'll catch you next time. Bye.
Bye.